we have form. So any citizens' comments?
No citizen comments.
Okay, no citizens' comments. And there was no minutes for the month of October, and the November meeting, we're putting it together with, I mean, we kind of combined it with today's meeting, correct? I mean, whatever items we had in November, which we didn't have a meeting, and we combined it
Correct.
for December, so
Correct.
there's no minutes for October, so, okay, this, item number 5, then FMP updates at East West and PMSA. Will purpose as well, right?
We're gonna bring up Gilbane first.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he's here.
Are we recording already?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I watched the facilities yesterday. I guess sometimes we forget the recording on YouTube, so remind me if I say something wrong.
You all right?
Yeah.
All right, good evening. Before I start with the presentation, I know we've done a ton of work here over the years and over the course of the last year. I just wanted to invite a couple of my engineers to be here just to kind of get a little bit of face time and see about some of these meetings. So I just wanted to give a quick introduction to Gerard Jenkins, who's a project engineer who's working at Proviso East this past summer. And then JT Aaron, who also was working along with us over at Proviso East. So just want to give them an introduction. As you see all the things that we're doing, I'm just a part of that. So we have a larger team. I just wanted them to be able to come here and show themselves, basically. So,
Great work, guys. Thank you for showing our work or something.
And we do have the students out there too with them, right?
oh yeah.
In the summer.
Yeah, they actually, they work hand in hand with our interns
Okay.
over there, over at Proviso East, and obviously we had some folks at West as well that did the same. All right, moving on, so this is the December 5th meeting. Our agenda of the items I'm going to be going over here is the construction summer 2023 punch list update, the procurement and potential change order schedule update, and then just kind of an update on project-related meeting schedules. We made some revisions. I just want to give an update on that. First, on the punch list side, this is again for the 2023 work that happened this summer. At Proviso East, we are approximately 66% complete with the punch list. As you can see here, a big majority of the items are on the mechanical side. We've got 17 of 74 items that have been completed. The other trades have completed quite a bit more. The biggest challenge.
Tom, excuse me. Is the presentation shared, Mr. Bennett, online? For some reason, I still can't see it on my computer, Mr. Bennett. You still doing it? Hey, Michael Delta, can you see the presentation online?
Mike might be in the car. So.
Nancy, can you see the presentation?
All right, yeah.
I can see it.
It's there. You might have to use screen. Oh no, you know what, no, you're on Teams, I'm on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You can't see it on
I
Teams.
can't see it on Teams. Hey, Jessica, are you there? It's on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on there, it's not on Teams. We should be able to see it on Teams, right?
Yeah, you should be able to see it on Teams, right?
Still not seeing it. It's not showing?
Yeah, you share it now, right? You
Yes.
share your screen. Yeah, you can see it on Teams now, and on YouTube.
It's on?
Something wrong with my computer.
Oh, hold on, I'm on Teams. You're on Teams.
On Teams, too.
It seems it's still on.
You're on Teams? You work?
No, it's not.
It's not on Teams?
No, it's not on Teams. As long as the community can see it on YouTube, it's okay with us here as we move on. That's the main key point. I have the presentation on my computer, but I want to make sure that we can get it on Teams as well.
Sorry.
You got duplicate screens or something?
Yeah, it shut off.
And if you could put the YouTube link back up there, as long as the general public can see it, I could organize my computer.
Yes, sir.
Who's remote?
Michael Belter is removed. Jessica Wagner is removed. Nancy Overall is removed. That's it. Luke is here, and then it's there.
Same stream. So sorry.
Can you see the presentation?
I can, are we good to go?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. All right, so going back to the punch list over at Proviso East, again, we're about 66% complete. You'll see there's a larger number of the mechanical punch list items. A good majority of those are items that cannot be completed until winter break. Some of them may not even be able to be completed until next summer, prior to the start of our summer 2024 work.
What's the reason for that?
It's just the type of work. So for instance, we have, we locked a lot of the air conditioning window units in, just because of the concerns with being able to have the system fully operational. So some of those are the types of items that are on the punch list that they'll get done. It's just sequencing it, trying to get it timed up properly.
You said removing the window unit?
The old window air conditioning units.
Oh, okay, because you already set the
Yeah.
system done.
Yeah, so we had to leave those in place because of pump delivery dates and didn't want to risk the air conditioning not running properly in the summertime. So that was our kind of our safeguard if something happened to be able to still cool the spaces. Oops. Proviso West, we're at 88% complete. Most of the items that are listed here that are still open, that remaining 12%, is getting scheduled and getting lined up to be completed over winter break here in a couple of weeks. Are there any questions on the punch list side?
Yeah, is this a small amount of punch list items compared to last year for all the jobs? And what do you do to minimize these? You guys use Procore, right?
Yeah, we use
Or
Procore.
you do observation, and
Yeah.
whatever is not closed as an observation becomes a punch list at the end, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we call it a rolling completion list.
Right.
So as the project's progressing, we input items. The biggest challenge obviously is the time frame of these projects. So you get that mad dash trying to get to the finish line. So the tendency on a project like this is you're gonna have a larger amount of punch list items just because of getting to the very end of that project and getting it wrapped up at the very end, leave some items that are outstanding that could get completed that weren't impacting occupancy and things of that nature that now falls into that punch list. So just unfortunately the nature of, you know, that tight time frame of that type of project.
You separate them by category, like, for example, okay, you're missing the trim versus the doorknob, or the whole door's missing.
Yeah, so basically the way we have it broken out, you can kind of see how I identified here is by trade contractor.
Okay.
So we'll assign it, so if it's a door, we know it's, you know, Straub Hargrave, who's our contractor, did the door work, so it'll be assigned to that contractor. Versus the mechanical trades, you know, if it's a mechanical related electrical item goes to a certain contractor. That's kind of how that gets broken out.
And this is during the final completion walk, correct?
This is, it's
Not
couple
final
of feet.
completion, I'm sorry, during your construction complete.
Correct, so once we get to the substantial completion and where we get into the point of turning over to the district, that's when the design team comes out to do their walkthrough and put together their punch list on top of what we do. So we initiate the punch list first. Once we complete that, the design team comes out and does their walkthrough to establish the punch list on their end, and then working with LT and his team as they're walking the spaces and things are getting encountered and identifying, we're continuing to add to the punch list as necessary.
So do you have CC, construction complete, final completion, and substantial completion? You have all those steps, or you just have SC at the end with the punch list item?
We typically just have the SC at the end, and then the final completion at the very end, 100% end of the project.
Okay, I'm just wondering if, because I couldn't gauge if that's a lot of punch list items, because I don't know what it is, you know, I don't.
Correct, and I think you'll be able to get a good gauge. I think Perkins and Well, when they give their update, they've got a list, I think, year by year of what the totals were. So you'll definitely be able to see comparable history each year.
Yeah, especially with contractors that know us, like, they've been here for years trying, you know, they've been our jobs and get them because they know our schools.
Correct.
Their punch list items should be minimal at this point.
It is. The biggest challenge again is just the timing. It's just you get that mad dash at the very end, and either random things get missed or overlooked trying to get to the finish line, and that's when it gets added. So that's usually the precursor that creates the higher amounts of the punch list.
Right, and do the project engineers take care of the quality control as far as the generating these items, or is it somebody else in their team?
Yeah, no, our project engineers, we all do it. I put in punch list items myself, but it's typically the engineers and the design team, so they all have access. So Perkinsville has access, so they can upload. It gets a notification to go in that Perkinsville has issued an item, and then our engineers assign it to the appropriate contractor, and then hit the button and it gets sent down to that contractor to get remedied.
Do you have anything in the contractor's contract where you see too many items and they have to get their own quality manager to make sure that these are reduced?
No, there's nothing like that.
Nothing like that? So you guys do it?
Mhm. Yep.
And what about our team?
Yeah, we jump in every Thursday, we have well, now it's every other Thursday, we jump over our list and we share those items on teams, and they get added to the list.
The reason I'm asking is, like, for example, you know, I don't want to go back to the curves, but how true is that? You know, I mean, that's something like that. You're pouring, you're looking at the forms, you know, stuff like that. Because the other day I was walking, we went, and I saw that patching, which looked terrible, you know, 1 by or 12-inch by whatever circumference cuts on those, and they look terrible. It's just unacceptable work, to be honest. I don't know, I mean, you guys showed it on the photo, I had no idea you'd done it at the school. But we talked about that, and it's unacceptable work, to be honest. So that's what I'm saying, I'm questioning your process for generating punch lists or quality control for the construction. Because if you have too many of these issues going on, you might need to get quality managers to help you guys out. Because the PM can't do it all, the superintendent can do it all, so you have to assign. I mean, I've seen a lot of contracts where the contractor has to assign their own quality manager when you see too many issues going on. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then the
Moving forward, I
curb,
mean-
the curb issues at East was a different thing. That was not something that would have ever been noticed at the time. That was a warranty issue with concrete that was actually.
I mean, it's just an
So-
example, I'm not
Yep.
trying to push that, but that's, it's just an example, that's what I'm saying. So,
Understood.
okay, thank you.
I identified a couple of the additional contract items, so these are, again, these are some random examples of items that are on the punch list. These are kind of the bigger items that are going to be completed here coming up. Condenser return, cooling tower pump installation, we're scheduled to get that completed over winter break 2023. We have a fabric duct install that needs to occur at the upper gymnasium at East, that's going to occur over winter break. I've also added in here, obviously, the level 0 south with all contracts, so that's basically the balance of the work that has not been completed at Proviso East. That will be done over the summer of 2024. Security camera work, we just got the contract wrapped up there, so that expecting to start security camera work at East and all the schools in January. We have the field house masonry stairs restoration work that will be completed over spring break of 2024. And then some of the access control phase 2 work, basically all the doors that are getting newly installed at Proviso East, with the exception of the field house, will be completed over winter break. The field house doors will be completed over spring break.
LT, is this the final phase of our facilities master plan construction with this budget that you currently have?
No, so we have one more year. Next year, we're doing Proviso East ground floor,
And library,
on the south side of this building.
and library work over there.
Yeah, library work over Proviso East too. And that is the final phase of the 77 or 81, I believe it's 77.
Okay, yeah, because I kind of looked at the facilities video from last night, I was trying to make it, but I did see that a large 21 mil in red, which I had questions about, which I probably won't bring it up now, but I was just concerned that, I just want to know where we stand as far as the 77 million, because that was a 5-year plan, correct? Is that a 5-year?
It was a 3-year plan.
A 3-year plan?
We did not fund the last 2 years of the plan yet.
Okay, never mind, I was just thinking out loud.
All right, moving on to Proviso West, some of the additional items to be completed. We got the overhead cooling door at the biology labs, which will be occurring over winter break. Again, the security camera work will be starting in January. Some bathroom ceiling replacement work is going to occur over winter break. And then the last items on here is the access controls phase 2, the rough-in of the conduit, and wire mold is occurring now. And then the wire pole termination work is going to be scheduled to start in January of 2024. And then the last item on here is, here at Proviso Math and Science Academy, is the security camera work beginning in January of 2024. Just looking at the latest and greatest procurement schedule, we've identified a couple of bid releases. The first one here is bid release 17. And the work that would be included in this is going to be the upper gym exterior stairs, so that's replacing that stairwell that we had to demolish this past summer. Proviso Math and Science overflow parking, and then the pre-purchase of welding lab equipment. We've got all to be determined dates on here. They just have not been set in stone yet, but that's going to be the first bid release. And then bid release 18. Which would occur after bid release 17, would include the potential work of the Proviso West soil stockpile, grade out, and relocation, and then the Proviso West welding lab. And then I just wanted to also provide a note in here, some additional potential change order work that's being investigated is getting card reader access to the elevators at both East and Proviso West, as well as getting some card readers for some E-wing restrooms at Proviso West.
On the pre-purchase of the welding lab equipment, what is that? It's not to do with
Yeah, so a few months ago, Dr. K tasked us with putting the welding lab at Proviso West back on the facilities master plan. And we spoke to Dr. Hill about funding it. I'm pretty sure her and Dr. K have had ongoing meetings related to funding. 2 weeks ago, we had a good meeting with design team, Ms. Sensi, Mr. Valente, myself, to kind of go over what the first steps are. Perkins and Will be presenting a rendering and a few other pieces of information around welding labs. The hope is to get it up and running late fall of next year. And the reason why we want to push this work is because the teacher over at Proviso West High School is saying that welding is a huge part of the AM lab, and that we should receive some funding from Lincoln Electric, SME.
I thought that was a done deal, that's why I'm asking the question, pre-purchase welding lab equipment, because we were supposed to be donating lab equipment.
Not all of it.
No,
So yeah, most of the exhaust and some of the tools. A lot of the other additional machinery that we will need, the district will have to purchase through the FF&E portion of the facilities master plan.
so they're just donating exhaust, whatever.
Yeah, it's
It takes to build that exhaust.
some TIG welders,
Oh, they are, okay.
some welding equipment,
It was 1 point something.
right around 900,000 now, but it was originally like 1.4 million.
So this is just an addition to the equipment that's gonna be purchased alongside what we got donated.
Correct, and that equipment has not been identified yet. We still need to do some site visits and get Ms. Sensi and her team and Dr. Brandon on board related to what they're gonna need to get the program off the ground. But as we speak, that list has not been developed.
Yeah, I know Dunbar, the city of Chicago has that program, and also one of the page, I forgot the name.
Dunbar?
Page, Dunbar, yeah. They have electrical, carpentry, and plumbing.
Yes. Dr. Gavalas has shared that there was a grant pertaining to this. Is there a grant?
There is for equipment,
Only for
safety equipment, not for construction, not for electrical, not for infrastructure.
Well, I mean, if it's for safety, I'm sure they'll need it. All right, that's all. Yeah, it's pre-purchase of welding lab. I had no idea we didn't have all the equipment. Because 900,000 is a lot of equipment. But it's just the exhaust fan. I mean, the system.
So far, it's just some exhaust pieces they plan to donate. I believe some shields, some face masks, a TIG welder, more than one welder. I believe it's 4 to 6. But it's not every component that we will need to have a fully functioning lab. So Proviso will need to come in.
And fan duct, because I mean, each section has its own exhaust.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you.
And then last item I had to bring up was again just the updated standing meeting times. Again, as LT had indicated, with the reduced construction work right now, we've moved the OACM, which was a weekly occurring meeting, into a bi-weekly status. And then what we've done is in that voided meeting slot, we've added another meeting to assist in getting some of the resolutions, some of the temperature control struggles that have been being experienced. So that's getting, a collaborative effort with the trade contractors, the design team, and the school district to get in the same room and get everything vetted out so that some of those issues get resolved expeditiously.
Now, the change order work, is that being, are you giving this work to whoever's doing the cameras? Because I'm sure they're low voltage guys too, right?
For change order?
No, the change order for the car readers for the elevators.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
giving this to the camera crews or the?
It would,
contractors?
yeah, it's that same contractors and a little bidder, the last two go-arounds, so it would go.
Because they'll be here anyway.
And they're also the original installing contractors, so they've got, they know where everything is,
Okay.
so, yeah. Any other questions?
No, that's all, thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
So the purpose of the presentation should be right behind it, Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just have a handful of items here that we'll cover. We'll talk about the welding lab that you guys were just discussing a few minutes ago, give some punch list updates and a few of the other miscellaneous projects, as well as a couple of future projects that the district has asked us to explore. So just piggybacking on the discussion that happened earlier, we keep a running list of punch list items that have been resolved. A couple of things I want to note here, and it's important that you kind of pay attention to the date in the upper right, whereas the total table is current through August 30th, is the construction team maintains a running list of punch list items for completion. The design team only goes out to the site to verify the items are completed when we're notified by the contractor that either a substantial portion of the punch list has been completed or all the items have been completed. So that's why for the West Summer 2023 and the East Summer 2023 lines, there's just asterisks under items open. A number of these items have been closed out, but we don't consider them closed out until the design team goes and verifies that they were closed. One other thing that we're also doing at the request of the district to try to help out, we've had 3 or 4 years of a lot of construction going on, is that every member of the design team will be visiting the site, both Proviso East and West, over this upcoming Christmas break, and we'll be walking the entire area of work going back to 2021, and just looking for other items out there that are either punch list items that have not been completed or items that were in the scope of work that have not been completed. We'll also be looking for potential warranty items, just to make sure that the equipment and the other items that were installed are performing as expected. At the end of this effort, we'll produce a field op standard for punch list items once substantial completion has been reached is 10%. Once a large portion of the punch list has been completed, sometimes it'll be reduced down to 5%. Once items have reached final completion, at that point, the district has 2 protections. One is the warranty protections, and then as well as latent defects. So if there was an item that was supposed to be completed in 2021 that never was completed and it's just discovered now, even though that contract may be 100% closed out, the contractor is still required by state law to come and complete that work.
Do you find it difficult, for example, these 4 items in 2021 to have this contractor come do it, and if they don't do it, I mean, obviously we hire somebody else to do it, right?
It's not always that clear cut. Sometimes these are items that, because this is a complicated phased project, there are items that made sense to defer that work, especially if that contractor has been involved in subsequent phases. Yes, in a perfect world, we close everything out, but it may make sense either just for means and methods of construction standpoint, or to the district's advantage where, okay, let's say we need to get in a wall, well, we're gonna need to get back in there the following summer. Well, let's just wait, open it up once instead of having the district pay to open up a wall twice. So sometimes items on the punch list that remain open actually represent efficiencies. Other times it is just your typical, this isn't working, this needs to be fixed, that sort of thing. I don't off the top of the head know what those outstanding 4 items are, but obviously, next time we go out to do a punch list review, we look for those 4 items.
Yeah, because 2021, that's a long time. 2024 almost.
It is.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, 22 is, just wondering, right?
Yeah, like some of these items are RMs that have been kept open on purpose, other items, just need to
I
be.
just want to make sure that this is not hiring another contractor to go finish up this, even 4 punch list items, because it costs us money. That's all.
Moving on to the Proviso West Welding Lab. So this will be taking 2 classrooms that are just to the south of the Advanced Manufacturing Lab. And the design team was given the direction to proceed on the preparation of a bid documents and a design several weeks ago. And so we had, as LT mentioned, a really good meeting with the CTE staff at Proviso West. They're really excited about the possibility of adding the welding lab to the program. The initial program called for 8 welding booths, which you can see here in kind of the gray squares. However, the goal for a right-sized welding lab would be to eventually have 16 welding booths. So the design that Percival is producing will plan for 8 in the beginning, but be able to easily accommodate 16 in the future for a proper sized welding lab. And so its program will look fairly similar to the advanced manufacturing lab, but a little bit downsized just because it's a smaller amount of space. There will be a classroom, some additional storage, some student prep areas, likely a small staff office, as well as some gas storage as well. So once this is completed, it really will establish this portion of Proviso West as a CTE wing. There will be 2 highly visible CTE programs there. So we'll also be including as a bid alternate the removal of the existing original ceilings in the corridor as well as lighting, and then a design for new ceilings and new LED energy efficient lighting. We'll also be looking to incorporate some placemaking or branding type elements. It's a great success. I know this program receives a lot of praise in local papers and stuff. And so we thought it'd be appropriate to really define this corridor as entering into the CTE wing. Obviously it'll be budget conscious, but something that really lets students know that they're entering into a unique space that Proviso West is providing them. So to touch base, again, on the left here, program highlights, I already mentioned the design will accommodate up to 16 welding booths. We'll have gas tank storage as well as a fume and dust extraction system. We'll have capacity for electric welding systems, so any of your arc welding systems like MIG and TIG. Be grinding station, work tables, any place for hand tools, and as well as attached classroom, office, and student staging spaces. And I already mentioned the alternate for the corridor. What we're looking at for a preliminary schedule, Tom already touched base on this. We're aiming for end of December to release bid documents for an equipment pre-purchase to Gilbane. This would include items like electrical transformers, any potential mechanical equipment that we're seeing longer lead times. It would be expected that these bids would be received in January and be voted on by the board sometime in late January to accept these bids in order to aim for a end of summer, fall completion for this work. Alara and the design team are monitoring equipment lead times, and if anything varies from that, we'll certainly keep the district updated, as well as our friends at Gilbane are also looking at lead times as well and informing the district and the design team. We are planning on providing the board a number of times to review the design. We plan on providing schematic design documents for district review in December as well. That will outline where walls are going, ceilings, things like that. And we expect to present a design as well as a project cost estimate at a January Board of Education meeting. So that the board can see the budget as estimated by Gilbane, and we'll also have some more graphical renderings of the space so you can see what it looks like. We're aiming for a February bid document issuance, and then at that point, the scheduling will fall into Gilbane's court, and they can talk a little bit more about the bid schedule. And then this will be a 2024 summer project. Again, hopefully, being completed in August, but potentially in the fall, depending on equipment lead times.
On the exhaust system here, I see that according to this rendering, in the previous photo there, I see that you're completing one side now. Is this exhaust system a trunk line system, or is it individual up into the roof?
So it'll be planned for 16 booths. And typically what it is there's a snorkel that comes down to each individual booth, and then it collects into a central main duct, and then it goes out to something like you would see in a wood shop where there's a conical dust collection system. And that would be a large piece of equipment that would be placed on site. I think we're targeting kind of the east side of the CTE wing to find a little place we can pour a pad and put the dust extraction system.
No, I get it. Just what you mentioned, that it's going to be made for the 16th. It's going to be ready.
Right.
You're going to have to punch through the grooves there and reseal. So I'll just
right. And all the welding booth is just concrete block walls. So you'll probably see the actual booths. They just won't have equipment and some of the other features of it. They'll just be ready for the.
But the extraction system, since you have to open up the roof, will be for us 16.
Correct. Yeah.
Now the electrical infrastructure, like I heard you say, you're going to have to need transformers because you have to get the electrical system with the capacity for the welding system.
Right.
Do we have is that nearby in that section there, or is it somewhere, the electrical main switchgear and all that?
So the main switchgear is underneath the cafeteria. Because we had to do upgrades to that switchgear when we did the HVAC upgrades, we're very familiar with the equipment that's in there. Right now, because the program as originally envisioned was for 8 welding booths and has since been upgraded to 16 or planned for 16, we're just confirming the size of the transformer needed. Unfortunately, even though material lead times have kind of resumed back to normal, one area that there is concern is with larger transformers. It's premature to speak if there will be any issues with that now, but it is an issue that we're actively studying and hope to have some better sense of that in the next week or so once those calculations have been completed.
I guess my question is, we'll be able to use the actual panel boards, and there should be enough capacity in the bus bars for the main?
Yes, you do have enough service capacity in the building.
Okay.
Yeah, just not in this area. We'll have to run new feeders to this area, but in the building you have enough capacity.
And for the transformer to be more efficient, keep the average time. Okay. All right.
Hey, Carl, this is more for the construction side of the team, side of the construction. I want to make sure that the professional estimate is spot on. So if there's some additional electrical components that need to be added in, let's plan for those now, because we have a very tight budget and we want to make sure that we do not overshoot that budget. So can that study be completed before January so the professional estimate can be compiled and Proviso can review it?
We plan on providing schematic design documents in December to Gilbane. I'll let them speak to the timeline it takes to estimate a project, but we'll be providing schematic design documents that can be estimated.
How long do you need time?
I'm guessing it'll probably be 3 or 4 days, but I've already talked to him today and confirmed he's got us bookmarked for the 20th on that design, so our guy's ready to knock it out when he gets it.
Okay.
So pretty much, it'll be only 8 booths, but it should be ready, will be just minus the equipment, correct, when you're done?
Right, so
The tables and.
the infrastructure will be there for 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the tables I see there, and maybe the welders.
Yeah, so, again, it could just be a little corral waiting to receive equipment.
Equipment, right?
But the power will be there, the exhaust and things like that.
Okay.
If Alara deems that Proviso West will need an upgrade to the switchgear and new panel boards installed, can that please be put on the forefront of the plate so that we could know what's going on with that? I just don't want to be, have our hopes up that this is going to happen, and Dr. Corvallis has tasked us with $4.5 million to get this completed, and then we have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, the initial study said that there will be no upgrades to the Proviso West switchgear. However, they are just asking because the program did change from 8 to 16, some additional time to study that. Next time we talk, we'll reconfirm that no upgrades to electrical switchgear service are needed.
Can you also, maybe for the board meeting, you might not have the answer now, but what capacity we're at after we at that, at the switchgear? Are we maxing it out, or?
Yeah, I can see if that's something they're able to produce, a percentage of service, how many design amps they're drawing.
3,000 amps, or?
They just pull.
Yeah, it's a fairly large service there, so I know it has some pretty custom switchgear. But I can ask them what they can produce. That would give the district a sense as to what utilization of their service they have. Okay. Just wanted to touch base real quick on the Proviso soil redistribution. This is another item that, along with the equipment pre-purchase, will be provided to Gilbane for bid later in December. Our civil engineer provided 3 options that meet the 2 goals that we have for this dirt redistribution. One is that it has to be extensive enough that it accommodates all the soil to be redistributed. But 2, it can't be so extensive that it triggers MWRD stormwater management requirements. So they developed 3 options that meet those somewhat conflicting project goals. We reviewed these with district staff, and it was determined that option B would be the most desirable. And so that's what we are proceeding with. This consists of a long linear berm that goes along the southern border of the site, as well as a larger mound, more or less in the same area that the current pile is at, but it will be shorter and obviously graded, the grade stabilized, and then planted with native vegetation to minimize the amount of maintenance needed.
So, Mr. Belter, the main reason why we selected option B, because we believe option B will be the least costly to the district. A large amount of those soils will be left in place where they remain now, and not be moved to an adjacent space, causing additional trucking and manpower. So we believe option B is the least expensive approach. That's why that approach was chosen. But two things we do need to get in front of, Carl, is we need to talk to the cross-country coach. That portion of land is a 2-mile course for cross-country. We need to get in front of Mr. Brazier and Mr. Davis, just to bring them up to snuff of what we're doing. And if we need to move the pile over to the left 3 feet or to the right 3 feet, then we can accommodate and make sure we're not negatively impacting cross-country. And then to the west section of that pile is a football playing field. We need to get the football coach involved as well, and Mr. Davis, just to let them know what's going on. It doesn't appear to be in that space, but it looks to be pretty close in that space. So we can set up a meeting with those individuals over at Proviso West just to go over what this is going to look like and what impact it might bring to their programs, so that they know what's going on for next season.
Are we going to need drain tile for this?
No, this is just regrading the site.
I'm saying it's not going to cost a future issue with flooding.
No,
I mean, I don't know what the elevations are or the total of that field is, but, I mean, if it all came down going south, it would hit the berm and just.
That was the motivation behind some of these designs, is that we need to maintain the current drainage on the site as it is. We can't impact neighboring properties. So that's what kind of led to this design. We can't just spread it across the entire site, because then we disturb too much of the site. So this was a solution that our solar engineer developed.
That'll solve that, but what about that field being wet all the time after rain, heavy rain for the, because we use that field, right?
We do.
That's what I'm worried about. So the students not being able, after heavy rainfall, they won't be able to use it for a week. You know, that's what I was concerned.
However, the stormwater acts in that area will remain after this project.
So you didn't do any kind of, civil,
We can't. If we disturb more,
so you just pretty much pick up the dirt, put it in there, and put it in trees.
that's exactly, yeah. If we disturb any more of the site, then it triggers MWD stormwater management, in which case it becomes a significantly larger project like we did here at PMSA or Proviso East.
So looking at these drawings, I mean, at these, what do you call it?
Renderings.
These renderings. Where does the water flow currently? The way without the, I mean, I know we have it on, like in option B, but we have it more towards the section at the bottom that's layered. That's where it's at now, right?
Yeah, there is an section.
Like now, anybody know which way you drain?
In general, everything flows to the south. There's some local variation, but in general, everything flows to the south.
That's what I was asking for drain tile. I mean, so when it flows to the south, it's gonna hit that berm and it's gonna just wash over to a little bit southeast, I guess.
It'll infiltrate in the same area as it does now.
Let me ask you this question instead. If we were to have a flooding issue there with the grass in front of that section, northeast, how difficult would it be to install a drain tile system to reroute that water and not have that issue?
Any site work would have to be done according to the MWD stormwater management ordinance.
Because I see it's a good idea to keep the water going to these businesses there. Do they have a current issue with the water, getting too much water from our fields currently?
I don't know that that's a problem, an issue that has been studied. Again, right now, our civil engineer is tasked with maintaining, however the water is flowing now, it will flow when this project is completed. So that's why you can see the berm has been located off the property line substantially. So that way it doesn't affect how stormwater flows off of the site, perhaps onto a neighboring property, if that's what's happening now.
And what was the reason for that? That was the most cost effective?
So the least, it was the least cost effective, yeah. And is it a quarter acre or is it a third of acre of land that we can own this or?
Half acre,
Half acre?
I believe is what the MWD stormwater management
So
works.
we explored moving this pile over behind the football field, behind the stadium where the visitors sit, just to hide it more because a large portion of this pile will remain in an area where a lot of complaints are coming from as we speak. But I think it'll bring some value to most of the community members once it is graded and green vegetation is planted and they start to see that it's not contaminated and not going to hurt them because there's something growing there. But this is the least impact cost-wise because you don't have to move all of the pile.
How much money is that?
It's going to go out for bid when, Tom?
So what are the?
This will be issued on December 20th to Gilbane.
And
So for example, option A, how much would that cost?
it's going to our estimator is going to be looking at these next week. So
Yeah, if
we'll
you're gonna show this at the board, can you put a price on it? I mean, what kind of, because,
Can you put an estimate on it per yard?
I mean, just maybe square foot estimate, or not something fancy, just to get an idea. Just because, you guys met about this right now?
Oh, yeah. A couple of meetings, more than a couple.
I mean, did you guys have a civil engineer with you guys?
This is the civil engineer's design.
Oh, it is the civil engineer.
Yes.
Did you give any notes or details, or?
I mean, we're preparing bid documents for it.
So according to him, this was the most cost effective, which one was the
So
second?
the reason why I mentioned it is the least cost effective, because right now, you see in the middle where the black dot is,
Mhm.
that's where all the stockpile is now. If on the left, if we take all of that dirt, move half of it over to the left, which is back towards the west,
Right here, this,
that's all the dirt is there now.
oh, that's where it's at.
All of it is right there now, so a large portion of that dirt will remain there. So we won't have to pay to move it. To the left, we would have to pay to move dirt to the left, which is to the west,
Mhm.
and to the right, which is northeast. And right, we'd have to pay to move that
That's where you
dirt.
have to move everything.
Exactly. So the middle portion, which is the option, is the least, we believe is the least costly, and disturbance to the existing land. Because obviously you're not moving all the dirt.
And what's the closest field to this, the football
There's
field?
a sophomore football field, right there to the left, which is west of this pile, northwest of that pile.
Okay,
It's approximately 40, 50 feet away from that football field.
okay, all right, thank you.
Next, going to touch on some secure entry projects. These were items, this was an item that the district asked Percival to look at about a year ago to look at the potential project. Concept designs were prepared and provided to Gilbane for estimating, and then in March of this year, estimates and designs were presented to the district for review. If the district would like to proceed with the secure entry project, this is for all three facilities. It's just a preliminary schedule that we're kind of drawing up. So if Percival were given the go-ahead to proceed in January of 2024, we would have some initial scope meetings and concept meetings with each facility's staff to just determine and confirm the extent of work. Once that's done, then we will provide a proposal for that design work. This work would be completed between February and April of 2024. There would be a schematic design process where we would produce documents for district review as well as Gilbane project estimating. And then we would prepare bid documents between May and July of 2024, targeting an August to October bidding and board approval timeline. This would be a summer 2025 project for construction and completion. Just to touch base on a couple of the conceptual plans. Again, this didn't really get further than just the kind of area conceptual studies. So this is Proviso West. This would be enhancements to door 1 where there would be a secure entry system In general, the typical concept for school entry is that you have a pair of exterior doors that a guest would need either credentials or be approved by security staff to enter into. At that point, they would enter into an airlock vestibule where they could interact with security staff or reception through a transaction window, or if that person, for instance, had a meeting in the office, at that point then their face could be seen by the security staff or the reception staff, and then provided additional access to the facility. There are some other spaces that were included at Proviso West. There are some toilet rooms that are immediately adjacent to door 1 that would be impacted. Those toilet rooms are not accessible as they currently exist, so we would be able to upgrade those toilet rooms. Additionally, there was talks about a welcome center possibly being constructed at Proviso West. Again, these are all just conceptual ideas. The program would need to be confirmed through subsequent conversations with the Proviso West staff. At PMSA,
I got a question. So, this concept for the secure entries, that was in November. Was this brought up? Was that scheduled for this phase?
No, this was a project that came to the surface. There was an issue in Missouri where there was a shooting at a school, and at the time, the previous administration asked us to start design work and get this up and going. Then in April of this year, we kind of put the kibosh to all of it because the administration, the board changed, and the administration didn't want us to move forward with it. And then 2 weeks ago, we had an unfortunate incident at Proviso West at door number 1, which is right here where this double walking vestibule air chamber will go. There were some parents who forced their way into the building, and this would have stopped it. So during our operations meeting over at Proviso West, the principal brought it up that we need to consider bringing this back. So as of now, we're bringing it back to see if we can get funding.
Who said bring it back?
Principal Martinez wanted to bring it back because of that unfortunate incident that happened.
That's why I was asking the question, because it seems like this is linked to what's been happening. So, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it,
Right.
but it's, you know, it's really, it's not gonna solve the problem, it's gonna help the problem. So I just wanted to know why this is up here. And I kind of, you know, everybody thinks board members are stupid.
So it's only for review. We're
No,
not.
I'm just saying, everybody thinks board members are stupid, you know, because some of us go to school, some of us don't. And I really don't like it when, you know, you just throw stuff in there like, oh, they're stupid, don't approve it, you know. Be transparent. You know, it didn't have to take me asking this question to get the answer. That's all I'm saying. Because that's what I saw. This was brought back because of what happened recently.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, you know, this would be talked to the board, to the community. I mean, I'm sure the community wants it, but just be transparent. Just, you know, tell me why. Don't just put it in there. You know, as soon as you see it, you know, because we catch these things. I catch these things. So when I see something going like that, that's why I asked you the question, and you just gave me the answer. And that was the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, that's how I
Transparency,
felt.
you know, it's, just keep it simple and transparent, you know.
Understood.
That's what I'm saying. We're not stupid. And the administrator asking for this shouldn't be something that it should be done because the administrator asked. It should be something because we all agree. The community agrees, you know? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
would you like me to proceed with the other 2 facilities? Or should we do the next item? At Proviso Math and Science, this facility, similarly, a secure entry would be created, as well as a reception security office. So again, that way there can be an airlock vestibule created for a secure entry procedure. Additionally, PMSA does have issues with the building pressurization, and by having an airlock vestibule, it would probably help alleviate some of that issue as well. This is currently shown at door 5. However, there is a request from the district to also consider this, or alternatively consider this at door 1.
And the reason I ask guys is because now this impacts our original facilities master plan. Because we talked about it, and I want to ask you what phase it fits into. Because that I remember it was in none of our phases.
And
So
what's-
now we're changing things, and now we're affecting our whole facilities master plan. So this has to be brought up to the board to make the decision, not just thrown in there because somebody thought about it. That's gonna change our whole plan. If that changes the FMP, that changes the 5-year financial plan. You know, it changes everything, so we really have to know what's going on. We're the ones that make the decisions, and we're the ones that are accountable to the community. We need to know why you're doing this. Yeah, I'm busy sometimes, and I trust you to do everything, LT, and you guys out there, the team, and kind of direct us, because that's your job. You're the architect, you're the construction manager, but we need to know why. Are we following the plan? You know, this is not in the plan, and I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. But that's gonna affect other things that we have planned in the facilities master plan, and we need to know that. We need to know that. Don't just throw stuff in there because whatever, you know. Let us know why you're doing it. We had a meeting, we discussed this, I think we're gonna do this. You know, I don't wanna stand in the dance floor, I don't wanna go on the dance floor and direct everybody, because that's not my job. My job is to make decisions and stay out of the dance floor so I can make a smart decision based on what you presented me. But if you don't give me all the details and you're not transparent with me, I cannot make a good decision. So please, from now on, whatever you bring, tell me why you're bringing it. I can't be at all the meetings, but I could be if I wanted to. I don't want to be that guy. Just be transparent with me. This is hard enough for me. I got 3 meetings a month with the board. So please, bring me the stuff. Like I told you guys, when I first started in this meeting, I told all the facilities directors, I don't know everything. Just because I'm a board member, you don't have to do it because I'm a board member. No, I'm one vote. We gotta do it because it's what works and it's what's best for the district in combination with Gilbane, with Perkins and Will, our team, and the board. That's how it works, not just one-sided. So please, from now on, when you bring something here, tell me why you're bringing it. Tell me it's part of the facilities master plan. Don't just throw it in. And I'm just being general. I'm looking at you because we're on video, but I'm just generalizing. You know, I'm just telling everybody that's hearing me now, even on YouTube, or the community, or the community. Be transparent. I ran on transparent, and then I ran on transparency, and that's who I am. That's what we want for this community. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. We don't include anything that we aren't asked by the district.
No.
So I understand that you're looking at me, so yeah.
If anything, I'm blaming our administration because we're the ones, you know, we're the ones that direct you. LT administrators direct you, we direct them. So I totally understand. I'm looking at you and I apologize because I get not emotional, but I get passionate. I'm not upset. I'm just straight out shoot it. This is the way it should be done. Just be transparent, guys. I get the board book on Thursday. I got 3 days to look at it. And I never seen anything on it before. Nothing that was discussed a month ago, 2 months ago. I got 3 days. That's how the board works. That's how we're able to make good decisions and stay on dance floor so the emotions won't affect us or what we have to decide. That's why it's done that way. Thank you.
So at Proviso East, again, a similar concept to the other 2 facilities. However, at Proviso East, there's a unique opportunity to reorient the door entry to face the parking lot, the student parking lot, where most of the occupants to the building approach the building from. So it's, you know, again, this is an initial concept, needs a significant amount of study and further discussion with the district, but the concept would be to create some sort of entry canopy at Proviso East and rotate to the north side of the building the secure entry area. And that would shorten the distance that students have to travel to enter the building, as well as eliminate the need to walk along First Avenue. So again, all these issues and concepts can be studied further if the district would like to proceed with them.
Talking about signs, I believe that sign up here that says following, we should get that fixed.
What sign?
The,
Marquee?
no,
No, the banner that's on,
The banner.
facing Roosevelt Road,
Yeah, it's following
the
that.
blue ribbon school banner, one of the corners is off.
I think when we had an email about that, and we fixed it, and then probably the wind knocked it down. So, it might be time to bring it down anyway, because that was what 3 years ago.
I believe the last time I have to discuss here is just some signage work that Percival has been asked to assist the district with. Predominantly exterior door sign renumbering and a graphic refresh is a required item. So that way, for example, if a first responder approaches the building, they can be told, look, this is door 28 and there's clear markings that is the door. Additionally, as there's been some reconfiguration of spaces at facilities, Proviso East and Proviso West will have new evacuation signs created and then printed and posted throughout the facility. A similar effort was completed, I believe, last year at PMSA, so this would just be extending that effort to the remainder of the district's facilities. Additionally, Percival will be providing a proposal to the district to do a room renumbering effort at Proviso East. As everyone who spent some time at Proviso East knows, it's somewhat awkwardly numbered, kind of harkens back to when the building was originally built, where there's a ground floor, a first floor, and a second floor, and so everyone kind of gets confused that the first floor is in fact the second floor. So that would hopefully rectify that and modernize the room renumbering. Additionally, there are extensive sign needs throughout the facilities. This is the tactile signage, stuff that both gives the legible room number, but also the braille signage for each individual space. And so that proposal is currently being prepared for the room renumbering and the room signage upgrades, and will be provided to the district for their review. Any questions on?
Yeah, with this being said, LT, I think we're gonna have to bring this to the board, and because this now affects our budget, so we have to bring this to the board and make sure that, getting back to the entry, which I think it's a good thing, but we have to bring it to the board and tell them exactly why we want to do this and how is this gonna impact our facilities' original master plan. So we have to bring that up to them, because on top of that, I don't know if you recall, we're short security as well, so that, you know, Mr. Colon, you know that we need more security, so how's that going to affect our budget? You know, the money's come from the educational fund. I don't know if we're still transferring the 4.5 million that we're supposed to be transferring every year. So, I mean, we have to bring it up to the board and tell them exactly why we're doing this, how that they're going to impact the current budget that we have for the facilities master plan. Yeah, so we got to bring that up as well. So we'll bring it in that fashion. Also, I wanted to also, I'll bring it up to the board as well. We had a meeting with Mr. Hall 3 weeks ago, I think November 10th, about the, you know, Proviso East is known for basketball. Well, it's not known for swimming, it's not known for, you know, basketball primarily and then football. Well, mostly basketball. We have a bunch of NBA players that come out of Proviso East, right? So we need to, and this is just me speaking, just one board member, it's just one vote. Might not even matter, but I am going to bring it up to the board. We need to do something. When I walked into that field house last time I was there, I graduated from Proviso. It looked the same or worse. It's nothing has ever been done to that school, to that section, that field house, but the stairs, right, and some doors.
Yeah, a few doors on the front.
So we really need to, I mean, this is just me speaking as one board member, but I will be advising to the board as the chair of the facilities that we need to upgrade that field house. I know you were talking about the wing to the side, but I mean, it's just a recommendation at this point, because you know there's a lot of things that play into finance, budgeting. What part does that play in the facilities master plan? I just talked about it. I don't want to take it out of our original plan as a district, as a board. I've been here 7 years, and I think we did an awesome job as it comes to facilities. Alan's been here for, you know, we have never done this much work at our schools, never. And we do it because we have a vested interest. We live here, our kids went here, and we're going to keep living here. So we have a vested interest in all these schools, and I think as Mr. Hall, and not just because Mr. Hall is saying, he just brought it up to my attention, and it was long forgotten, that field house needs to be renovated. And of course, we need the budgeting for that, and I will be bringing this up to the board if I can. If not, I'll put it in the agenda for the January meeting. So just put that in your back burner. Go
Carl.
Carl, sorry.
That's right.
Just put that in your back burner. I'm not directing you, they're just speaking, put it in your mind. You know our schools well, but that's something that will be proposing to the board, if the budget and the FMP original plan allows. It seems like we're gonna have to change our FMP. We're bringing this new security entry project in, and if we're gonna change it, we might as well look into it and see if we can get funding for what really needs to get done. It's about needs, not wants, so we have to really get a list of the needs for each of the schools, for if we're going to, I don't know, I'm just speaking out loud or thinking out loud, if we're going to issue bonds or anything like that for, to keep working on this FMP. So that's just my 2 cents on that, and thank you very much.
Yeah, I think that concludes my presentation. Any other questions?
No questions, just a few comments. About 5 or 6 months ago, we started the FMP refresh. Mr. Hall was #1 on the list. And I believe his main focal point was the field house at Proviso East. And we just have not crossed that bridge because of lack of meetings on the Proviso team side. But we do plan to dive in. Mr. Beltier has asked if we would do another review of the potential site infrastructure and educational items that need to be done the way we did it last time, so that we are hitting all 3 phases within the educational platform at Proviso, and not just doing sports, we're also doing site work, infrastructure work. Our bathrooms do need some work, so I'm gonna ask Perkins and Will to put together a series of meetings for East, West, and PMSA to talk about all of the high-level issues, A's I will call them, so that we can get that information to Mr. V to see if we can get funding for the FMP refresh, and maybe he could have a meeting of the whole with the board members and the superintendent of schools, and see where we go from there. So we can set up a series of meetings to come up with those items, and the first step is to bring them to the meeting before the meeting, which is the regular facilities meeting. Then we bring them to,
Or even to even to the finance committee, because at some point, I'm going to talk to Mr. Ocampo, who's the chair of the finance, we need to come together pretty soon, real soon, if we're going to have to, if we're doing this, because one of the things that I will like, Carl, that I really like, that Perkins and Will did, when we originally talked about the facilities master plan, even before we even started construction, we hired you guys and Bill Bain and everybody that's part of the team. Perkins and Will gave us this huge, long sheet of all the, we had the safety violations, everything, but they gave us a real long sheet of all the items that we were supposed to complete within, I think it was a 10-year facilities master plan. If we could have that, I'm sure you have it somewhere in your drive somewhere. If we could have that and see what's been completed, where we're at, and now with these changes that things change, it's a living document, so
yeah.
we have to change it. If we're going to change it, we might as well change it to what the school needs. Because we're at a point where if we're going to get funding for it, we're going to have to do it for what the school needs. We don't need Proviso East is not we don't need a pool or competition style pool to be in. We need the pool to be functional, but we don't compete. Swimming is not Proviso East things. It's basketball and football. And we already, there's already a playing field. So the next thing will be that. The bathrooms at the west, along with the security entry points. At PMSA, I'm not too sure. This building looks new all the time. I don't know what's needed.
It's a VAS system.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've been talking about that for 7 years now, right?
Yeah.
It's the same one.
The same one.
Yeah. Along with some CFM balancing around. The door didn't shut on me today, but yeah, in the summer when the AC's on, it's really not balanced well. The doors just don't want to open either, so the force of the air in the room is not calibrated correctly. But anyway, so if we could get that done, kind of, if you got to color code it, sometimes we got to kind of do it like YouTube style. We got 30 seconds to capture because we don't have that much time. And if you could color code it and make it easy for us to understand. Not all of us understand, many of the documents, it's a variety of documents. Some of us specialize in one thing, others specialize in another, which is a great thing. But yeah, if you guys could, with LT's direction, get that document for us to see where we stand and see how we could move things around. And I'm gonna have to talk to Dave Ocampo to meet with facilities and work together to see what's next for the next phase of projects. And budgeting, of course, because we need money to do this. But yeah, no, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this evening, I will be presenting the Board of Education Facilities Meeting updates for the buildings at Proviso East, West, and Science Academy. There's about 35 slides in here, so if you need to stop me, but I'm trying my best to get through them as best as possible. So starting with Proviso East, I was a meeting with Mr. Hull and Mr. Valtier's on or around November 1st or 3rd or so. We noticed that there was quite a few deficiencies in the area. The picture to the right is some stationary elliptical machines and treadmills that was not assembled. We have assembled those and organized them in the weight room to make it a functioning space for PE. The middle picture is a picture of a vibration damper that has been ripped apart, that has been repaired as well. You'll see some pictures in a few minutes. And then to the far left is a stain that's actually been embedded over time in this mat, and we plan to get a new mat. We tried to clean it multiple times, it will not come clean, so we're going to order new matting. Me and Mr. McDonald is working on that as we speak. Here's the picture on the far left and the top. You can see where we've added the jacket to the ductwork to encapsulate, to ensure all the CFMs get through the ductwork. On the bottom right, you can see where everything was removed. This is also in that same space where that vibration dampener is. There's a steam leak in that room. We did our best to repair it. We need to order a new coil. We did add filtration to this air handler. And also, we did preventative maintenance work on the motors inside that space and removed all the debris. Added a few light fixtures in that space because it was pretty dark in that space when we were doing that walkthrough with Mr. V and Mr. Hope. Also, we're Proviso East in the corridor area at the main entrance of the field house. The doors were painted, the walls were painted. All of the door hardware were checked for proper operation. This space is ready for season as we speak. Also, a few bathrooms off the main gym field house main floor. These bathrooms have received new fixtures, new sinks, new control devices on the urinals, paint, contrasting colors. We do need to upgrade the doors on the stalls, but that will come at a later date. But this bathroom has came a long way in the last month. Mr. Hull also asked for us to get some professional signage for the PE department. On the bottom left, you can see the PE teachers added a huge piece of clipboard paper there, handwritten. We're working with Lukazic Signs to get some professional signage. Those renderings will be provided to Mr. Hull on or around December 15th. Once he approves of the new signage, we'll make sure we get it and install it right away. It will be an inexpensive raised type of signage. We're not going to encapsulate it in glass or anything like that. So this project should be under $5,000.
LT, now that you're touching on those signs, remember we talked about having some signs for each of the schools where the students could call, especially in the winter season, where the students could call somebody to sign that number, whatever, for a jump, my car doesn't start, or something like that for each of the schools. I don't know strategically where you will put them, but if you're going to order signs,
That's a good time to
touch into that and see how many signs you need and where should we put them. Talk to the principals. That was just something that I thought of since I came to a board meeting and there was a young lady with a flat tire.
Right.
She was waiting for her dad. Dad was. I finished the tire. I put it on. She got in there, and the dad was still there. So not everybody has a dad, So
Understood.
Or a family member that could go help. So these students, or even the staff, would call, hey, I left my lights on, my car don't start. Can I get a jump? universities do that.
Right.
IIT does that, UIC does that. They have signs. Well, they have one that said they got palms and palms. But, you know, that would be a great idea and just probably add them to the order of these signs.
Yes, sir.
Of course, after you talk to the building
Correct.
principals.
We do have internal meetings scheduled with the building principals, and I'll make sure that that's an agenda item. I'm not sure if we can get it done by the 15th.
No, I mean, as soon as possible. I'm just saying, if you're gonna order signs, you know,
Do it now.
yeah,
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, on the top right, this is a rainwater basin that was existing at door 31. During our walkthrough, Mr. V, you had pointed out the cracking on the top right and right there in the middle. And after speaking with the design team and construction team, this was an existing ring that was already on Proviso's property. The ring was not replaced. So we do plan to do a patch there, but this work was not part of the construction or the design team design.
Yeah, the issue was not the crack. The reason they had cracked was because there was no
Expansion joint?
expansion joint around it when they poured that sidewalk.
Okay.
So if it was cracked, you know, that's why it cracked. Because they put the expansion joint, so when it contracts, it smashed it
Okay. We're definitely gonna work on it to get this remedied as soon as possible.
the summer. So those are the type of things, Carl or Kevin, that, you know, there's no expansion joint there. Like, why did they put expansion joint on an existing concrete unit? I mean, that would prevent that cracking if it wasn't there. Mostly that happens when you don't put an expansion.
I'll speak with the design team and get together with Civil to see what happened. All right, this is another picture showcasing the ceiling and the walls painted in the weight room that was in pretty bad condition during our walkthrough. You can see on the far left, the ceiling and the walls has been cleaned and painted. The picture on the bottom right that shows all the machines have been assembled. The space is clean and organized, and it is ready for physical education. Also over at Proviso East, this is one of the main issues with the field house is we have a hydraulic system in that space. We're hoping that we can upgrade the air handlers in that space to get it on the VRF system over at Proviso East High School. Also over at Proviso East last week, Mr. Hull asked the food service team to get together with his coordinators to have breakfast with Santa for 260 students and I believe 60 parents. This was a success, and I want to thank Ms. Garza and her team for doing a fantastic job for jumping on this right away at the last minute, organizing with GFS, and also spending their weekend at Proviso East to cook the food and clean the kitchen and have it ready for Monday. You notice on the far left, holiday tree along with some presents underneath it that was given away to the students. On the far upper right, you can see Santa with one of our Proviso students. And this is a picture of the breakfast on the bottom, sausage, pancake, and apple juice. It was a phenomenal event. And I want to thank Ms. Garza and her team for coming out, also donating tablecloths and actually putting some gifts under the tree for our families as well. Moving on to Proviso West High School and the Parent Center. Ms. Hibbler is doing a fantastic job of branding the Parent Center over at Proviso West High School. She has asked the maintenance department to bring in the school colors. You'll notice we're painting it bright, Proviso West red. This is some of the signage that Ms. Hibbler has ordered and the maintenance team has put up. It identifies the mission statement, also the district crest in both English and Spanish. Additionally, over at Proviso West, we have added washroom signage to that door number 1 and also corridor signage along the entire corridor of the Parent Center and right in front of the security desk, just to welcome the parents, and this information is in English and Spanish as well. The big caveat over at Proviso West High School was the heating system to get it up and running. The team did a fantastic job helping me seek out contractors. Giovanni did a good job providing names and also contact numbers. You'll notice that this system has been completely reconfigured to the existing tank that Proviso West needed to get the heating system back up and running. This is a portion of the work where the team jumped in and ripped off all the insulation from the exterior portion of the tank, all the jackets, bagged it up and disposed of it correctly. And this is a portion of AMS out of Fort Worth, Indiana. They flew a team here from Los Angeles, California to do a fantastic job inside this tank so that we can store water inside this tank and heat our building over at Proviso West High School. We have not been billed for this work, but I do expect to be billed for this work within the next couple of days, because I've been sending them scathing emails that we need to get this on the books and paid. Also, we prepped the tank that failed with isolation valves and also pumps, so when the new tank comes in, we can just take the old tank out, put the new tank in, retrofit the new 3-inch valves into the tank, and have the system back up and running completely instead of just having only one single tank. Also, Proviso West over at the stadium, we winterized the stadium bathrooms, also turned the water off and turned the heat on. We expect the temperature to be around 62 degrees in that space, but these walls in this space do not have insulation, so we have to monitor this closely, make sure we use antifreeze in the toilets and urinals so that we do not crack any of the plumbing. Also, over at Proviso West High School, we had an unhappy student that trashed one of the bathrooms. The maintenance team actually went in this place and fabricated some brackets. Got this bathroom back up and running. There is no additional work needed in this bathroom at this time. Gil Bain has done a great job with helping Proviso identify deficiencies related to the punch list. We had a leak on this about a year and a half ago, and we replaced some piping in this area because the pipe burst over the winter because there was some water left in it. That was a collaboration with Proviso, and we believe the trade contractor, it was a shared cost. Gil Bain actually got the trade contractor back out to insulate the cooling tower drain lines at no additional cost to Proviso. This work is completed and it looks great. Also over at Proviso West, there's a couple of pieces of glass in the Upper East Gym that we have to replace. Leroy is in training. We're hoping that he be part of our maintenance repair team. He's a custodian now. We have him in training to get him up to snuff to be part of our maintenance team over at Proviso West. These next few pictures, Mr. V, is the building envelope pretty much coming apart, and this is a huge reason why we need funding. You'll notice the picture in the middle, on the bottom, you can see how it's completely rusted out. This picture really doesn't do any justice related to the interior portion, but as we speak, you know, you can see little small pinholes coming through the doors on the far left, and then on the far left on the upper portion. This is an interior door in the field house that's coming apart. You can see it's just pulverizing on the bottom.
That's the whole assembly, right? The steel assembly.
You need the frame and everything, doors. This is over at door 24. The picture on the far left is right there in the brace. You can see where it's rusting at, and then the picture on the far right. This is a close-up shot showing you the existing conditions that need to be remedied sooner than later. Eventually, these doors are just going to fall apart. These doors are over 30 years old. We do need funding to get them on the facility master plan to get them replaced.
Now the secure points, are these some of the secure points?
No, so this is door 24. This would not be one of the secure entries because this entry is used for sporting events, for the field house in the late evenings, and security would actually be in that space. The secure entry would be at door number 1.
Is that on the south end?
That's on south end. So the secure entry would be over at door number 1, where most of the parents and visitors would be coming in at. Also, want to showcase Circle Drive, the overhead soffits, this falling deteriorating canopies. This work is heavily needed. We had an outstanding event for Turkey Drive, and a couple of pieces of this concrete actually fell on that day. So we need to get this ready as soon as we can. Also around Circle Drive, you can see the pitting concrete on the far right. You can see the peeling paint and the canopy on the far left. We did bid this work out about 3 months ago, but we were not happy with the price. I believe it came in at like $181,000. We do believe we will gain some efficiencies by packaging more work with this work instead of just bidding this as a standalone. This is an additional picture. You're on the far right. You can see the curb is just coming apart. This is from plowing just over the years. If I had to take a guess, this curb is probably over 50, 60 years old. We need to get all this site circulation work completed because if not, somebody's eventually going to trip on it. The picture on the top, you notice that my foot is in that crack. That crack is about 4 to 6 inches deep. And then I took an elongated picture of the crack. This is near entrance number 24, where students enter. We need to complete this work as soon as we can. We do plan to patch this with some concrete patch as soon as the weather break. And as we speak, we do have cones out there to identify that it is a hazard. Some additional pictures you can see right there on the corner where the curb meet, it's just busted off on the bottom left. Pulverizing cement on the bottom, all the rebar is completely rusted. On the right upper hand corner, you can see where the drain is collapsed. All of that needs to be replaced, and another picture of the canopy just coming apart. Parking lot over at Proviso West High School on the south side, that near door 24. You can see how bad it is. This needs to be at least grind, milled, and re-overlaid. We did that work on the north lot in 2020. We do need to do this lot as soon as we can.
Now, Coach, would proper maintenance, coating it would help that to eliminate the water getting and freezing and expanding as well?
So typically, every 3 to 5 years, we would coat them and have them restriped. This lot is probably 25 to 28 years old. I do believe this pavement has reached its useful life. And also, we cold patch it as much as we can, but cold patch is a temporary fix. And freeze and thaw is just going to heave out. We need some continuous paving that's going to be pushed down together and bind together. This lot is definitely past its useful life.
Now, do you see any unforeseens with contamination like we had in some of the sections at east? At west with the same issue? Or not, remember with that contaminated soil when we did the section of the parking lot?
So two parts to that. So I don't see that because I plan to have this grind and milled and overlaid versus a complete dig out and recirculating the drainage and all of that. This would be just taking off the 6 to 8 inches and then coming back on top. This would not be digging out 36 inches.
Taking it all out?
Yeah, we wouldn't be taking it all out. We would just be taking the pavement off, taking no dirt out of our. Also, over Proviso West High School, some circulation pumps. We have the heating bundles for the pool. We need to get an independent heating source for the pool so we can use our pool in the summertime. Right now, the pool is dependent on the boilers, and the boilers are down for preventative maintenance in the summer. And we need to make sure that we get this added to the facilities master plan. This is pictures of Proviso Math and Science Academy. A few months ago, we had a cooling tower issue where the motor went bad, and we just let the cooling tower run so that we can condition the building, and it took about 5 days to find the motor. During that time, all of the water we were dumping out of the cooling tower saturated a lot of the insulation over at Proviso Math and Science Academy. We did get this work warranty because that motor was defective. Raincoat Roofing is working with the roofing company Firestone, to make sure that this work is done by the spring of 2024. They were here for about 4 days completing this work. The roof is manageable as we speak, and there's no immediate concerns. Also, over at Proviso Math and Science Academy, one of the flame sensors were found defective. On the far left is the new device that was installed. Mr. Johnson and Mr. House did a fantastic job getting this unit back up and operational. On the far right, you can see we got a green light. Everything is working as we speak, and the combustion is working fine. Also, we did preventative maintenance, complete evaluation. Proviso Math and Science Academy is an encapsulated building with no windows that can be opened. We wanted to make sure all of the air damper was operational and make sure that we can provide reheats and cools back into the building to make sure that we can properly condition the building as needed during these cold winter months. Also, with the Math and Science Academy, we had a flood last December. This is work that we did fund, replacing carpets, replacing stair treads, We've been working with Edwin Anderson and also Celtic Environmental to get this work done. This work is about 95% done, and it looks pretty good, and that carpet needs to be replaced because it was from 2005.
Okay, what do we do with that line that was way too close to the yellow or something?
What do we do with
What kind of it?
So we had a 1.5-inch pipe sprinkler system right near the door number 1. There was no insulation in the cavity up there. Last year in December, we had about 3 days that was about -12 or so. And that air coming out of the north froze the pipe and burst overnight. The next morning we came in and it was
That was nice.
5,000 gallons of water.
It was black steel, right?
It was. We got JCI to come in to re-thread it and put the sensor back in, get the sprinkler system back online. But we're just finishing up all of the additional work because some of it was insurance work and some of it was in-house work. Facility usage, Speaker Chris Welch will be hosting Christmas in Proviso, December 16th, 2023, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. This collaboration with Proviso selects families from all of the communities. Those families will be at Proviso West High School and will be presented with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Christmas toys. All villages are participating. Most park districts are participating. Most businesses are participating, so this is a huge event. If you can make this event, you will not be disappointed. It is so gratifying to see families who cannot afford the basic essentials receive those essentials, and just to see the look on their face. Also, there's a few churches that's going to be giving out brand new furniture from Costco's in the magnitude of about $400,000 worth of furniture. They're going to pull semis up on the south portion of Proviso West and give furniture away. If families can take it home, they're welcome to it. So please spread the word, and if you have time, please stop out and see us.
And how do you do the distribution for the items?
So the villages actually select families inside of their village. But you have to nominate those families. So they go through and knock on doors. They go to child care centers and, hey, who's in need that lives in the village? Then they select those families, not an individual, a family, to come as a recipient.
Melrose Park, Bellwood goes, Maywood.
Everybody's there.
Stone Park.
Stone Park is there too. For the last 2 years, every municipality in Proviso Township has been there.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
It is a huge event.
Bikes, TV.
Yeah, bike, TVs, beds, recliners, I mean, a lot of nice stuff. If there's any questions, if not, happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, I just got one comment and a question. As far as the facilities for like, who takes care of them? You know, remember we used to rent them out and it used to be the security directors that used to.
So, yeah, I take care of that.
Oh, you take care of
Yeah,
it.
so Mr. Swanson and I, so in 2018, Brandon Gale and myself, we worked on the structure for pricing for the facility usage. That went to the board, I believe it was August of 2018, and those prices got approved. Those prices got added to a Word document that was online. That document became electronic through jot form with Ms. Smith leading that work, I want to say 2 years ago. Now jot form is full and need to be empty, but Ms. Smith has the password and login. So Mike, myself, and Mr. Pagoni, we're working on a digital document that we're going to showcase online. I'm hoping Monday. I didn't get a chance to show it to you yet, but me and Mike worked on it last week. And it's going to have the same pricing structure that the board approved in 2018, but there's a few things we need to add. For an example, one of the main caveats on there is the leasing of the field house. We get a lot of people want to lease the field house and they only want the track. We don't have a breakout pricing structure just for the track for practice. We need to create that. So I plan to present that to Mr. Pavoni sometime soon, with hopefully coming to this meeting in January or February and bringing it to the board in March or April for some type of consensus or approval so we can showcase it to the community, so everybody can see our new pricing structure. That pricing structure should help people who rent our track significantly. Because if you're renting our track and you just want to run the track, and you're gonna have 500 people, there's no need to pay for all of the locker rooms, all of that space as well. Right now, it's a $750 price per hour for the field house. We wanna break that down so that if a person wanna use one locker room and just the track, it's $150 or whatever that might be. But right now, board approved wise, it's $750 an hour.
Right, that includes security and whatever's needed.
That is to use the facility.
Oh, There's an additional charge for.
Security is $33 an hour, and maintenance is $44.20 an hour. Contractually, because they have CDAs with the district, we have to include them in any cleanup and or securing of the field house. We can't let people bring their own security.
For example, for this event, the 16th, I'm assuming Proviso is sponsoring the area
Correct.
because everybody else is giving.
But there is a charge to Mr. Welch for being with us. We don't give it to him for free. And he has agreed to pay.
The fee is not $750 an hour, but the fee is, it's reasonable to what this event should pay, considering what they are doing.
No, right. I mean,
And a lot of our families from
either
Proviso
way, I wouldn't have a problem.
is going to
Me
receive,
personally, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
right, they're going to receive, you know,
Rather than
gifts.
giving
Yeah,
things out, it's costing.
exactly.
No, I get it.
But there is a fee for setting up tables, because maintenance guys have to set tables up, break them down. All villages bring their entire maintenance departments because it is massive. They set up all type of holiday trees, different games. They bring their podiums. It is massive. So if you have not attended in the last 2 years, please attend for an hour or so.
Right.
You love this event.
It's probably a Saturday.
It is a Saturday. It was set up Friday night between 2 and 6, and Saturday is a kickoff at 7 a.m. They normally get there about 5 to be ready for the family to set up.
Okay. Do we have times where, of course, if it's our coaches, I mean, they use the facility for free. But if it's, do you have occasions where members or people that work here want to rent the facility?
We
Do you have
have,
special pricing, or is everybody pays the same?
so each event is different. So it's like an a la carte menu, right? So the last person I know that rented the facility on, as an employee, I believe it was
Claude Brown at Proviso East for a birthday party for his grandson. He rented one room, and I believe we charged him $55 to, no, it was only there an hour.
Oh,
We charged him $55 to use the space. We normally give the village of Maywood breaks because they sit right across the street from Proviso East. They hosted a Fred Hampton unveiling of his birthday, and I believe it was a celebration. He was 70 or 75 years old. Please forgive me, I'm not a guru on Fred Hampton, so if I misspoke you too, please don't crucify me. But we wanted to be welcoming because he graduated from there. He lived 17 blocks from there. He was a pioneer in Maywood, so we charged the village, I think, $110 for that event, and that was to use the tables and tablecloths because we had to wash the tablecloths. So we're not in the business of getting rich on people, but we do need to recoup basic pricing for practice and small events. For an example, in 2018, Perkins Wheel redesigned the field house at Proviso East, and we've allowed quite a bit of usage in that space, and that space required repainting of all the stripes, and it's in the magnitude of about $200,000 just to paint all of the lines on the track. That is one of the main caveats to having a basic usage fee, $35 an hour, $2 a student, whatever we can come up with to give you guys some options to vote on. We're working internally as we speak with that now, and we want to be reasonable and invite the community as well, the alumni as well. But it would be unfair to Proviso, in my opinion, to allow the community members to use it at zero cost because of wear and tear.
We need some type of fee to recoup costs that's gonna be reoccurring down the line. Case in point, what I just made about the track in 2018, that we spent $3.2 million to renovate. And now it's $200,000 just to redo the lines. So we do need some type of facility usage wear and tear that everyone's gonna pay. And wherever that money goes, it goes to the business office and whatever pot, whatever fund, that fund can help pay for that $200,000 down the line when we have to reconstruct the track. Right. So there is no events that we go and give like, you know, carte blanche and they don't get charged ever. But there's 3 groups that practice at Proviso West that has at least 20 to 30% of Proviso track students in their program. Proviso Elite is 1. Vesta. Zephyrs is 2. And forgive me, Mr. Robert Jones runs the 3rd one. Because they have less than 25 to 30 kids in their program, and there is no practice portion of the facilities usage at Proviso West, we allow them to practice for free. But when they have large events, like an invitation, where they're gonna invite 15 schools, then they have to pay. Well, we will bring in a structure to review with Mr. Pavoni, Dr. K, and the board to make sure that we're being fair and transparent, because we do want people to use our facility. Any additional questions?
No, that's it.
Great.
All right, so, yeah, I guess new business will be just the ask that I asked Carl from Perkins and Will for the update of the facilities master plan. Initial layout of the work, the scope of work is supposed to be done within the next 10 years. I think we're into year number 5, is it, or 4?
This is your 6?
6, no, sorry, 2017. 2018. So, yeah, I mean, we're almost there.
You're 6. Oh, yeah, 6.
So just that.
6.5, so.
Right, so just an update on that, and then, Proviso East, the Mason.
Yep, that'll be part of that, that'll be refreshed.
Yeah, so we can put that on the agenda for the following, meeting on January. See what you guys can do for that, and, we'll talk about it to the board in January or February. Well, actually February, right?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you to see what your thoughts were around the facilities meeting. Since construction is ramping down and there's hardly any design going on, would you mind if we go every other month, or do you want to stay monthly?
I mean, just, let me talk to the David Ocampo.
Okay.
I would like to do, a joint meeting for January,
Okay, great.
just to get, you know, it is the beginning of the year, and then just to get on track with what's going on now, just to, we need to plan for the following phases. We need to get together and let me talk to them, I'll probably call them up tomorrow, and let them know, see what we could, you know, along with his committee and this committee, we could talk about, you know, what our next steps are, because, I think we talked about this before, but we just kind of let it go.
You got a work on it, yeah?
So, yeah, so if you guys could meet and then we could get the documentation. Carl, are you able to get that for next week, or would that have to be for January?
For the updated master plan,
Yeah, because I think we talked about that before.
I can review what we've previously prepared and send it to LT, and he can present that to you, and if that's what you're looking for, then we would be.
We had a good meeting with Mr. Hall, but we have a new principal here, Ms. Kachanos, and a new principal at West. We need to get in front of them to see what educational pieces they would like to add. And obviously the site and infrastructure, me and the team will.
So how many times a month do you guys meet? I mean, the team, the FMP team, Perkins and Will, Gabe, and you? Because I know when we first started, it used to be once a month, even twice a month.
Yeah, so we have a few meetings. We have the OAC meeting. We took that meeting from once a week to
What's the OAC's now?
owner, construction manager, and architect. We used to have that once a week. Now we're going every other week. And we also added in a controls meeting, which is going to refine all of the hanging chads around VRF system, the SCUs, and we have one-off meetings at least twice a month, so we meet at least 3 or 4 times a month.
Like for new projects?
Not for new projects, no. So we started that about 3 to 4 months ago, and the only person that we really can get in front of at the time was Mr. Hall. We did have a lack of participation from the building principals, answering Google calls, and that's a scheduling platform that Proviso will use. But we will make sure we jump in there and get their attention. Did we identify some dates, Carl, we talked about identifying some dates for the secure entry, right?
Not at this point. We've talked about a general period of time, probably after the holidays, just given how things kind of tend to get really difficult to get everyone needed during the holiday season, but we talked about early January for that.
Because that's just an information item, correct?
That's all it is.
Okay.
None of that. The first step is to bring it here before we take it to Luke and before we take it to Dr. K, because we need to get buy-in that, you know, everything should be pushed up. If we don't get buy-in, then we don't move forward with it. But we do have a meeting scheduled to go over the signage. It is needed. We got audited by the Office of Civil Rights, and we got deemed at Proviso East for not having ADA compliant signage. And instead of just doing Proviso East, we want to do a boilerplate across the district. Because eventually, though, the 2 schools will get those audits. The secured entry, it's only an idea and a review. It has not been funded, but we want to share it here tonight so that, you know, we're being transparent with it. This is what we want to do because this is what building principals are asking for securing our students and our staff. But none of that stuff is etched in stone. It's still on the surface, and we will not pull the trigger until we get signatures and a consensus from yourself and the Board of Education.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I guess that's what we'll do, Carl. We'll just, if you can, and then it would just be more of an information item to the board as to how we're, you know, how we're going to continue with the next phases of construction. So, yeah, we'll just present it during the meeting when you get your, you know, the FMP section of the board meeting, and then I'll bring it up then, so we can just start moving on that.
Yeah. But, you know, considering the holidays is 2 weeks away, Christmas and New Year's, it might be a little tough to get the principals on board to sit down for a couple hours. So we will do our best to get meetings ironed out. But in my opinion, we probably won't be solid with something until February.
No, that's fine. I mean, it'll just be an information item, pretty much what we discussed today.
Okay.
And the ask, I would just bring it up during our meeting next week. And it's, you know, you're bringing up this information here, I'll bring up that we should really look into the FMP original plan and see what's been done and how we're gonna continue with the funding in the next phase. That's all.
Okay.
Just information item, yeah, so then, you know, for the upcoming year, 2024.
Yeah.
2025.
We're good.
All right, well, thank you everyone for coming. 7:20, I guess we could adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.